Which one do I want? There's a plethora of them. I'll fall off the stage if I do that, won't I?
You want to do that?
Let's get a little closer. Don't be shy. Get a little closer.
Don't be shy.
With Air It Extra Dry. No one? Yeah. Yeah. Look at this. Totally screwing it up for the next people that are in here, but it's all right. Oh, is it? I've got like a thing with... There, now it's even. I'm going to break these. Is that cool? Awesome. Because I weigh so much. Hi. Hello.
Howdy.
You're a good-looking crowd. Glad they kept the lights up for everybody. Who am I? I thought that was Scott McNeil. I was like, oh, cool, he made it to my panel. First time in Tampa. That's kind of cool. The humidity capital of the world. That's good to know. I'm from Texas, so I mean, yeah, there you go. I remember what humidity felt like. I remember my last summer in Texas. It was in August of 2006, and I got into my car. I had a black Dodge Durango, and it was like 150 billion degrees, whatever. And I get in, and I just immediately was just soaked, and I just started crying. I was like... And that's when I decided to move to Los Angeles. Because we don't have humidity, but we have deadly spiders. So that's fun. Seriously, this brown recluse is rampant. I have 2 balconies. Huh?
You're over here as well.
I got bit by a brown recluse once, and it's crazy because you don't. Here's what's terrible. You don't know immediately what it is, and then you just kind of do this, and then this, and you're like, holy, that doesn't look good. And then you go on the internet, which is just the worst place to get any kind of medical advice at all, because everything is basically like, oh, it's nothing / you're dying. And so funny story. Can I tell this story? Is that cool? All right. So I got bit on the calf. That's a part of the leg. All right. And I go to a doctor that only in LA. It was a dermatologist / skin spa. So you know that you're going to get quality medical care there when they're saying we could give you either a transfusion or also a seaweed wrap. And so I said, hey, what's going on here? They're like, it's fine. Just put this stuff on there and you'll be up in no time. I was like, okay, cool. And then like 2 nights later, it's not getting any better. And I'm going to bed and I reach over to turn off my light and I look and I had like this little, I don't know, like looking at an ant bite or whatever. And I see, and I actually watch this red streak go up my arm, like real time moving, like it's a stock trade or something, and it's going up. And I'm tracking its trajectory, which is going towards my heart. And I sat there for a minute and I went, webmd.com. And you'd pick like 10 of the different, replies or whatever. This is from a doctor in Indiana who says, and everyone was like, go to the hospital now. And so it's like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night. I've got to work Monday morning, and I go, I'm going to the emergency room. So I go to the emergency room, Providence St. Joe's, amazing hospital in Burbank, California, Toluca Lake, California, actually. And like you guys care. And so I get into the emergency room, and it was like this actually peaceful place. Everyone's like, hey, what's going on? There normally is like one guy going, can you put my arm back on? And so I walk in, and I was like, I think I need to see a doctor. She's like, well, what's wrong with you other than all of this? And I was like, this is bad. And so she was like, all right, the doctor will see you in a little bit. And so I go in, I was like, doc, I got this, I think it's a spider bite right here. And he grabs my arm. And like he's ready to dismiss me with this. He's like, spider bite, you're fine, kid. And then I went like this, and he grabbed my arm, and he looked at me, and he goes, do you do drugs? Under normal circumstances, I could completely understand the question. But no joke, cool. And I was like, what? He goes, don't lie to me, boy. I need to know. I was like, no, if you knew me, you'd know how hilarious that question is. I don't do drugs. And as much as heroin, Jesus, I mean, God, smoke a joint, one thing, but like smacking black tar heroin, come on. Just jump straight to that one. And I was like, no, I don't do drugs. He was like, well, you are tonight. We're gonna fill you full of some Bruce Banner shit. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, you've got like this your blood is basically toxic, so my body was turning against itself. And the only thing going through my mind was like, this is how superheroes are born. So I'm like kind of giddy. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna come out going thwip. And so I sat in the emergency room for like the next 3 hours. Fortunately, I brought my iPad with me. So I'm sitting there watching Netflix. If my like 10-year-old self would have known, is like the only thing that you had to look forward to when you were a kid, and when you were my age, like none of you are, and you're 10 years old in the hospital, is like at some point, no matter what my malady is, I'm getting ice cream at the end of this. This, I'm like playing Tetris or playing, Dungeon Age or whatever on my iPad and watching Netflix and getting like some great drug just pumped into my body. And then I was made whole, and I have the strength of 10 men, and I can actually fly. So it all worked out. Anyway, so thank you for accommodating that story. We're off to a fantastic start. Who here has no idea who I am? You're just looking for a place to sit down. That's great. Come on, but you bring your own, which is amazing, and it's mobile, which is fantastic. Is that or is that not Mjolnir? I understand. We've actually, it's been announced, I think now, so Avengers Season 2, and no matter how many episodes in we are, we still struggle with the pronunciation of Mjolnir. Mjolnir. You know what I'm talking about, right? Thor's hammer? Mjolnir. All right. And every time, Travis Willingham, biggest comic book nerd in the world, our director will go, Mjolnir, he goes, it's my hammer, it's Mjolnir. Mjolnir, say it right. Anyway, another little fun fact, Travis knows how to say the name of hammers, Thor's hammer. Hammer's Thor. Don't ask what this is. Oh, cool, then most people are at least somewhat acquainted to some of the body of work that I have, and he's got to go to the bathroom, which is cool. You will be first, I will remember you. To be shot. Volunteer, just saying. You never know what you're raising your hand for. Burn him alive. Wouldn't that be great? He's still got his hand up. I love it. He's like, I don't care. It's me. I'm going to get set on fire, Dad. We're very proud, son. See what happens when you get straight A's? That'd be the greatest encouragement ever. Get straight A's and you'll get burned alive by someone. So yeah, the last couple of years have been pretty exciting for me. I was Joel in The Last of Us, which I'm so glad they're re-releasing for the PS4. We knew going in, it was kind of like a hypothetical. They're like, if Sony is going to release another console, wink, then more than likely what we'll do is we'll come out with an HD version. It's like, or we can just wait and have it come out on the PS4. But I'm so glad that they came out when it did. It was great to kind of have that be the swan song of the PS3, and it looks so good on the PS4. And it's not just like this pretty upgrade. It's not just a graphics thing. It's the fact that there was so much care and attention and work and detail that went into what the environment artists did. And if you've played the game, you know so much of that experience is about the world and how you interact with that world on a very real level. Has anybody found they didn't suffer? Okay, you know what I'm talking about? That wasn't scripted, that wasn't a cut scene, there was nothing that was a performance, it was the world relaying its story to you, and the whole saga of Ish. I mean, it was just a brilliantly executed story. And what I love is that with it being in such high res, with it being the 1080p and 60 frames, you really get to see the detail, the work. So I'm glad that those people's work is being fully realized, and it's everything in one. So it's you get not only the full game, but you also get the Left Behind DLC. Obviously the multiplayer stuff too, which is actually pretty cool. And then there's a lot of extra bonus features that we weren't able to put on the original disc. So it's not just a cash grab. It's actually really something that I'm happy that it's coming out, and I can't wait to play it. And if you like, I played it, pretty much day one was the first time, and that's really the first time that I got a chance to see the entire game. So I've let a year pass. So there's so much stuff that I'm looking forward to forgetting. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I forgot about that. So I get surprised again. So I haven't clocked everything out. Booker DeWitt in BioShock. Which what a way for Irrational Games to go. Hooray! Speaking of swan songs, who's played Burial at Sea? So good. Oh, exactly. Oh my God. It's something that's, and this is the way the panel's already started, guys, just in case you're wondering, this is how we're gonna do it. The thing that I really liked that was happening, and keep in mind, everybody works in secret. It's like the most clandestine, CIA has nothing on game developers as far as how they function. Because everybody is living completely surrounded in this world that they're operating in, and barely do they peek their head above the surface to find out what everybody else is doing. And if they do peek their head above the surface, everyone's operating so secretly and under an NDA that nobody knows what anybody is doing. So what's cool about that is that at the same time that we were making The Last of Us, which was really the first time, it got brighter in here, didn't it? Just want to make sure I'm not having a stroke. And the lights are flickering back there too, so it's really doing a number on me. What was really cool about what was happening though is that at the same time that Last of Us was really creating this new kind of character with Ellie, where it was a strong, independent, non-sexualized female character that was capable. She didn't need help, she was really powerful, and at the same time, BioShock was creating this character that was completely flipping the script on a Disney princess, and she was the most capable. She's really who you wanted to play as. That's why I'm so glad at the Burial at Sea stuff. It's like, I can be the guy that can shoot stuff and swing on ropes, or I can control reality. So, and obviously, spoiler, at the end, both of those characters, both Booker and Joel, are the ones that needed the rescuing, not the girls. And so to see that happening at the same time, completely mutually exclusive of each other, really said something to me about what's happening within the gaming industry. And we're starting to see that that's like the new hero, I think, that's emerging. With the Second Son DLC that's coming out soon, First Light. With my sister Laura Bailey as Fetch. If you haven't played Infamous, this is a great way to get into it. It's a standalone DLC. It's like $10 or whatever, and it's awesome. And she is incredible. Neon powers are fun. Superhero powers are fun. So if you got a PS4, check it out. It's awesome. But the whole point of this is that what I love what's happening right now in gaming is the consoles are kind of just literally a vehicle for what's happening within story. That you're having these amazing characters come out of these things, and that they're girls, that they're really, really strong women. I think it's been a long time. The fact that the girl gamer misnomer is going away, it's just a gamer. We don't qualify it anymore. If you play games, you're a gamer. I don't care what sex you are. So yeah, so it's been, there was Last of Us, there was BioShock Infinite, and I got the chance to play the Joker, which was freaking rad. So I've had kind of a cool time, and it's been interesting to be in a situation like this, sitting here in front of you guys in different cities around the world now, and kind of hearing from you guys either things that resonated with you, that stuck out at you, that you hated, that you loved, and kind of getting a chance to kind of little one-on-one kind of talk about that. So my brother in the blue right here, before he explodes, you have a question, brother. What's up?
Hi, I'm Stephen Bauer.
Hello, Stephen Bauer.
I'm a huge Batman fan, and I want to ask, what was it like working with Roger Craig Smith, who played Batman in Arkham Origins?
First of all, Roger Craig Smith is... We always use the term, I laughed so hard I peed my pants. And then it actually happens to you. I have had like seizures because of how funny Roger is. And he is so talented, so diverse, can do so much with his voice. And the way his mind works is just so super fast. I love Roger dearly, and I think for someone, it's one thing to do like a really cool character. It's another thing to do a character that you're a fan of and that you understand what you're walking into. And there's a lot of people that sometimes step into these roles, and that's for everybody. For some people it could be Batman, for some people it could be Joker, for some people it could be like a B-list superhero, or just someone that's been popularized in another medium, whether it be comic books or novels or films or TV or whatever. But when you understand, I understand the mantle that is being placed upon my shoulders, I think that's really cool when you treat it with a level of respect, and nobody treated it with higher respect than what Roger did. And I think that Arkham Origins was a great game. I think that for a studio like Warner Brothers Montreal to really be able to go up against the odds that they were up against, and anytime anybody takes a game from ones and zeros and turns it into a disc that you put in and play, that's amazing. It's a miracle. It's like your cell phone. I don't care if, like Louis C.K. has a whole bit about, my Verizon, I hate Verizon. You hate them? How do you go build your own network and see how well it works? It's amazing. This device is amazing. I can call you, and you can get my text message. If you get it a month from now, it's amazing that this traveled through the air. And games are the exact same way, that people sat there and they coded and they turned literally ones and zeros, it's the binary system, into this amazing experience. And fortunately, we had the benefit. You can sit down, dude. I don't want you to have to stand. Thank you so much for the great question. We had an amazing director, Amanda Wyatt, who has been with the Arkham franchise for a while. She's done plenty of games. She did the Assassin's Creed franchise. She's awesome. She's really, really cool. And she gets it, and she knows us. We've got a shorthand with each other. But I was going somewhere with that. It's a partnership that you have with not only your castmates, if you're fortunate enough to record with them, which Roger and I had one session together, and that's pretty much all that room could handle because it was just fart jokes the entire time. Or even worse jokes that should not ever see the light of day. But, and I got to work with Tara Strong, who came back as Harley, and yeah, she's great. But there's so much about that partnership that goes into that role. Who's seen the little demo so far from Destiny with "This wizard is from the moon"? Clearly Peter Dinklage is good. He's on a small show, not sure if you guys are watching it, it's the chair play game. What? Game of Thrones, I don't know. Amazing, right? So he's good. Like that whole last scene that he did when he's on the, spoiler, sorry, if you're not caught up, you live under a rock and just don't watch HBO. That whole scene that he gives on the stand, he was like, I wish I had enough poison for everybody here. I mean, the guy is a fantastic actor. And there's one guy going, I read the books, I'm way ahead of you. But then you hear him in Destiny, and you're like, whoa. Everything he's been in, he's great. He was great in X-Men. So what happened? And I think, I don't know. I think that it's possible that nobody had the balls to direct Peter Dinklage. I'm just saying that wizard is from the moon. Are you guys cool with that? Sounds great, Peter. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for coming in. Please don't leave. We should go over there. Guys, you sure you're happy with this? Sounds great. Peter, you're amazing. Will you sign this before you leave? What? Or it could be you operate inside of a vacuum, and everything is theater of the mind, and what you're being told, which is in flux, is the world that you're going to be living in. So it's a really weird gig. The reason why I say that is Roger plays that game so well, as far as being able to understand. He knows the medium, he knows the world, and he understood when he put on that cap and cowl what that meant. So I love Roger, and he's great.
Yeah.
He paid me to say that. Let's go to the left side. You right there because you're a girl. What's up? Were you yaying that you were a girl or that you got chosen? You got, I'm a girl. Yay!
Yay, I got chosen.
All right. Burn her alive. Go ahead.
Why aren't you both voicing Kanji in Persona Q?
Because Matthew Mercer is awesome. Well, thank you. I think it's great, and here's the thing. Sidebar. Thank you for bringing that up. First of all, the whole reason why it came about was because I went on my honeymoon, and as you know, production schedules are super, super tight. They get scripts in, they got to record, they got to get to air, and I literally wasn't going to be available, and so we had to scrounge. They could not push, and it was with a heavy heart. It was like, I can tell you do an amazing job, and Matt Mercer got it. And he came in and he knocked it out, and I was on the phone with Neil Druckmann, director for The Last of Us. We're talking about the movie, and he says, how are you going to feel about someone else coming in and owning that role of Joel? And this is transcendent. This goes with every role that you ever do. You can never own a role. You're merely a custodian of it for a while, and that's it. Who owns King Lear? Who owns Richard III? Now you find something about you in that character that makes it personal to you and that you get to interpret it, but you never get to own it. You just simply, you hold it for a while. It's like the torch for the Olympics. That guy lights it and he carries it for that distance, and then someone's going to do it 4 years later. It's not going to be him. What's that? You borrow it. I like custodian because I've borrowed a lot of stuff and I've broken it. You know what I mean? But being a custodian of it means I have to cherish this, I have to take care of it, cultivate it, grow it, leave my indelible mark on it, hopefully. And so I can never fully own kanji. If it belongs to anybody, it belongs to you guys. It belongs to people who are fans, because so much of it, but it's true, so much about kanji has been revealed to me by the people who have either played Persona or watched the series. That's how I get informed, is when someone comes out and says, you know what? Kanji gave me the strength to come out. What? Yeah, I've been in the closet and I've been really awkward, and to see a character like that who was wrestling with it himself. Are you kidding me? We get a chance to do that? Same thing happened to Ashley Johnson with Ellie. It's like if I had played this game 10 years ago, my life would have been way easier. It's like, what we're doing, guys, is, and this is why I think it's so important, and it pisses me off when I see people come in that treat it flippantly. It's like, you don't understand. There is no other medium on this planet that has ever been conceived by man that has the level of immersion and interactivity than what games do. Now, there's a huge responsibility with that. We have to understand that with power comes great responsibility. Flip. See, it's happening. But more than books, I've been lost in books, and I've been lost in movies, and I'm watching Boardwalk Empire right now, which I know I'm super late to the party, but holy crap, that's an amazing show. And it's compelling, and it's thought-provoking, but it's all one-sided. I'm watching them. I'm not Nucky Thompson. I'm not Chalky White. I don't get to be these people. When I pick up that controller, it's my decisions. It's my choices. It's my actions that I have to live with. There's nothing else on the planet that's like this. So that's why I feel like a character like Kanji, or a character like Ellie, or a character like Elizabeth or Booker, whoever resonates so well with people, is because they lived with these people and they made choices that sucked, that were terrible, that got them killed. And it's the evolution of the choose your own adventure books, where you always kept your finger on the page where you're turning it to, just going, okay, I'm gonna go to the left door. Oh, the door is tigers, I'm going back, I didn't do it. I had a great World War II one that I read where you were in Nazi Germany, and you started off as a Jew in Poland, in Warsaw. And you go through and you finally make your way and you meet Anne Frank, and it's just an incredible way to experience history as a book. And I was like 10 years old when I read that. I've always been fascinated with World War II. Fanciest war ever. Hugo Boss did all the uniforms for the Nazis. Did you know that? It's true, look it up. I don't know where we are. Somebody asked a question. You right here.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, who do a better Joker, Jack Nicholson or Heath Slater?
This is exactly what we're talking about. Everybody has, I know people that, Cesar Romero is their Joker.
Yeah.
You know, what I loved is that Heath Ledger was exactly the Joker. It's kind of like, you know, he's not the hero that we want, but he's the hero that we need. Joker was the Joker that we needed. We needed someone that could go, I know what you've seen before, but I'm not going to give you that Joker. The one thing that I love, Jack Nicholson was the perfect comic book Joker for that Batman. If Keaton's going to be your Batman, Jack Nicholson might as well be your Joker. What I didn't like, though, is how they took the storyline of that he was Jack Napier, and Jack Napier was the one that shot his parents, and so, because the thing that I love about the Joker is you never know who he is. And the thing that I love what Heath Ledger did, and that was, he told two different stories about how he got his scars with the same passion and vigor. My father was a drunkard and a fiend. I was like, whoa! It was so good. So I think that I can look at what Jack Nicholson did, which Jack was made for that role. You know what I mean? Just the whole dancing and everything around. And him making fun of Jack Palance. I'm the one, a guy. You know, and he gave us the, you know, where does he get those wonderful toys, you know? So, I mean, everybody has had their own Joker. And then you have this Joker that lives inside the comic books that is your own interpretation, that you get to hear how he sounds. Now, mine has always sounded like Mark Hamill to me. Sorry. It just always has. 'Cause that was such the perfect interpretation of it. But again, I think it's exactly what we're talking about. No one has ever owned that role. You know, you get to experience a new flavor and a new interpretation of it. Basically, what Heath Ledger was doing, he talks about this, was Tom Waits. Because Tom Waits, if you ever hear any interviews with him, it sounds like this. And Tom Waits is the devil. Tom Waits has played the devil. Do anybody know who Tom Waits is?
The Earth Died Screaming.
What?
It's one of the songs.
Yeah, okay, well, those, a lot of were screaming. I was like, they said, you're screaming. I was like, yes, the Earth Died Screaming. He was also in Dracula. Renfield and Dracula. That's great.
Okay.
Get a little trivia. All right, we've done left. We're gonna go right. I gotta go with Delson. Sorry.
You know, you talk about all these, roles that you have taken and other actors have taken, and you say how you've taken custody of them, being custodian of them. Is there any one character that you just identify with and love, and you don't say that this is my character, this is when you just read the script, you said, this is incredible.
Everyone. I mean, I'm not being glib. You have to. Have there been times when I'm like, you can't find that little nugget of truth? Yeah, and I think a lot of times it shows, and people are like, I don't like your performance in that. I'm like, I kind of agree with you. I can be honest. Take Joel. I had to find something within that guy because minus this beard that I've got now, which is crazy. I've been growing this since I was 13. There's nothing that on paper he and I are the same at, you know? But the story was so honest, and the characters were so honest, my performance had to be honest, so I had to bring myself to a place, and that doesn't come on your own, that comes with working with amazing people like Ashley Johnson. It comes with working with Neil, who had the patience to guide me through, sometimes painfully.
How do you get through those roles? How do you identify with the pain that you all went through?
You start asking yourself questions, yeah. And for me, it was the very first one was in the audition sides, which I auditioned just like everybody else. It said he has few moral lines left to cross. And you ask yourself, well, what happened to you, man? Because if that could be true of you, what have you experienced? If you had few moral lines left to cross, that means you've crossed some in the past, and the closer you get, you're like, I'm willing to do this now, I'm willing to do that. Morality is becoming a fading concept to you. What has happened to you? And so you start asking yourself questions. And that would even happen on stage. It wasn't just like I walked in first. It's so funny, like the truck scene with the whole, where did you get that? You know, and he puts the tape in, and he was like, this is even before my time, and all that. We had no idea who Bill was going to be. Not only just the actor, but we didn't know who really the character was. He was just somebody that we got this truck from. That's all that we knew. That was one of the first things that we shot. And I look back at that Joel, and then one of the last things that we shot, which was either in the operating room or in the I Swear. And Joel has grown, and the truck thing happens about halfway through. So you learn about the character. I'm still surprised by Joel. Joel is the one person that I sit and think about more than any of them. Joel's the one that I miss. I don't know. I really don't know. I hope so, and then I don't hope so. It's like, either way is perfect. Either it's great as a standalone thing, with the DLC, of course, but that fits inside that story, or if they're going to write something new, it's going to be incredible, and I can't wait to do it, if I get a chance to do it. Hold on, buddy. You're okay. You're gonna get a seizure, and then I'm gonna feel bad. But you have to find something within every character that you go, what am I grounded to in this? What's at stake, is what David Milch always said. He said that the lines, the script that he would deliver to all the characters on Deadwood, he would literally hand them to them sometimes as they were walking to set. And it's like Shakespearean dialogue. It's insane. But what he always told them is like, here's what's at stake in this scene. And once you understand that, once you understand the currency that you're dealing with, then the words should flow. The character should flow. And whenever someone says, hang on, I need to get into character, you're lying, man. What do you mean, get into character? Get into character? No, Travis Willingham puts it this way. I love this. When you look at a football line, and you've got those guys that are down, and they're talking smack, and like, I'm gonna take you out, I'm gonna make your mama, all that stuff, and they're like, getting all big, and then that ball sets, no one's talking smack anymore. It is laser focused, the crowd goes away, everything goes away, and all they see is that man that's right in front of them, because that's their job for the next 6 seconds, is this guy right here. And then as soon as that down is over, or the ball turns over, what's up, man? And it's back to that, because you cannot maintain that laser focus for that long. So it's not about getting into character, it's understanding this is who the character is. I know that person. I'm just gonna reveal something about that character to someone. Yeah, I could go on for days about that, dude. Back in the back there with the little red stripe, I like it. Red stripe, you're like a Jamaican beer. Yeah, I get it. From Wolf Among Us? Season 3 finale. What do you guys think of Wolf Among Us? Obviously, you like it.
I was very upset that it came out 2 days ago because I didn't have enough time or resources or prosthetics to get a costume together for my favorite.
Before you start thinking about which prosthetics she was trying to get, these kids over here, these kids. I'm loving it. I've loved everything Telltale's done, man. They're just, even before Walking Dead, if you haven't played the Back to the Future game, it's amazing. It is the 4th movie, and it is awesome. But go ahead, Lev. What do you want to ask?
Because I kind of played through the Last of Us.
You haven't?
I have.
Okay. Woo, let's see. Well, this panel pissed you off, huh?
Because I have played through it. The first time I played through it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
The second time I played through it, I took my time and I paid more attention. Emotionally, how were you affected by Joel and the way that he changed, especially that final decision? Because I had to take a moment, and by a moment I mean like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Just staring at my computer screen
Here's what first of all, how was I impacted emotionally? Yeah, here's the thing, man. I'm in such a weird position because a lot of times the things that I do get misinterpreted. And it kind of hurts a little bit because I don't think I'm just going to use adult language here because this is just the way I can convey it. There are very few actors that are assholes. There are some people that have grown jaded over time, and typically that's rooted in hurt. Someone's done something to them, and they've learned, okay, I have to shut that part of my heart off. And it's weird because I've been in those chairs before. I've been standing in line waiting. The first time ever I got to meet John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard, and I think there's probably you and maybe 2 other people in here who know who that is. There's a new insurance commercial with them on it. Okay, oh, those guys? Yeah, those guys. I was shaking in my boots to meet John Schneider. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I was going to be very eloquent and say, thank you so much. I enjoy your program every Friday. I love you. You're great. I can't wait to purchase your album. That's why he was there. I get up in front of him, and what do? I go, yeehaw! And he goes, on to the next. I was like, no! So I know what it's like. And I also understand do the line from, say when Joel says, fill in the blank. And I want you to understand the heart that this is coming from. I may say no to that. Somebody said, hey, do me a favor and say, you were treading on some mighty thin ice. But say my friend's name in it. It's like, what's something horrible that's happened in your life? Cool. It was a rhetorical question, but I'll use that as an example. Your dad falls down, breaks his neck. Back neck ribs, okay. Well, the person that I was asking this to, his sister had died. And it had been years, but you could tell it was still fresh on him. And I was like, what's the worst thing that's ever happened? He goes, my sister died. I was like, cool. Terrible. I said, do you want to tell me about that? He goes, well, no. I'm like, why not? He goes, because I don't know you and that well, and I mean, it's really awkward. And I'm like, thank you. And that's what it is. When someone says, hey, do that really emotional thing that cost you something and kind of jacked you up for the rest of the day, here's a quarter, let me put it in, you pull your string and perform for me. It's like, whoa, hang on, man. I treat that character with more respect than that. And it's not like I need to go get into character and become Joel and blah, blah, blah. It's just that it's like, oh man, I don't know if I want to revisit that right now. I'm having a good day. I'm having fun. But I never really understood the cost of what it takes to play a character like that. And I got a friend who's a big actor, and he's done a lot of stuff, and he did this one specific role, and it jacked him up, like therapy, because he's just that guy that's going to go into it, and there's some minds that you don't want to be inside of. And that's why I respect people like Tony Hopkins, who can be inside the mind of Hannibal Lecter and come out normal. Now, he's a recovering alcoholic, but you wonder why. But it is the stupidest profession in the world in every sense. It's stupid that we get paid to do this. It's stupid that you guys like it. It's stupid that they keep asking us to do it. It's stupid what it costs. It's stupid what we get to experience. It's just stupid. And so if you come up and you say, just ask yourself before you ask me, I wonder if I should ask me this. Joker laugh, I totally get it. Funny story. Here we go. New York Comic Con, 2012. We're backstage. I had just debated with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was pretty cool. We were discussing the movie Gravity. Oh, completely. He was eating a hot dog. It was my only like he was sitting down, I was standing up, and he stood up, and I'm like, Jesus, man, I'm tall. But we're standing there, and Eric Holmes, who was our creative director on Arkham Origins, goes, Scottish, why did you want to do the voice? Oh, just, but I want to make sure that people see the character, they don't see me, and the game comes out. He's like, so why don't you want to do the voice? Because, it's important. I don't want people to see Troy Baker, I want them to see the... And he goes, why don't you want to do the voice? Because I'm scared. I'm scared that people won't like it, that people will start lighting torches and gathering pitchforks and crucify me on the, in front of the Javits Center. He was like, we've made a great game. I don't think you're going to cock it up. Okay. So that's why we did the whole thing at New York Comic Con with the Joker monologue, because he gave me the courage to do that. So it was a really cool conversation. So that's a long answer to your question. Yeah, but as far as the ending specifically, I'll speak to that and wrap it up, and we'll move on to somebody else. All that we cared about with the ending was we didn't care if people loved it or we hated it, because we knew it was going to be polarizing. People were going to agree with it, or they weren't. But we wanted people to get it, and we didn't want people to be ambivalent about it. So that's why it wasn't a clear gut punch, which is it's easy to do that. This was, I want you to wrestle with this. I hate Joel. Why? Because I wouldn't have done that. Why wouldn't you have done that? Because humanity, cool, and you start having this conversation. I saw so many forum boards just blow up because people were talking about it, and that is when you know you've done something. When people are like, then you need to go back to the drawing board. So whether you loved it or hated the ending, whether you agreed with it or didn't agree with it, that's not the point. The point is finding out what you would have done for yourself. I'm going to ask my friend Booker here. I'm going to get to you. You're going to be my last question. How about that? You good with that? You were the first and the last. You're the alpha, you're the omega. You're my bookends, baby. I can't do this thing without you. All good. Yes. Yes, sir. This is what I love, by the way. He's dressed as Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite. As well. But what's great is I've had people in the very back row dressed as Darth Vader, and I'm like, hey, you got Darth Vader back there. You got a question? He goes, there's nobody behind you. Clearly it's you. What's that?
You mentioned earlier about seeing all these strong female characters in games coming forward nowadays. I wanted to ask you what your experience was like working with some of the actresses that brought these characters to life, like Courtney Draper.
Dude.
With Elizabeth and for Ellie.
Just as Roger understood the mantle that was being placed on him, not because they were told, hey, we're going to start really drumming up strong female characters. It just became evident by the writing and the story and who the characters were of what was happening. And it's so funny because Ashley's a nerd and a gamer. Courtney isn't, which is totally fine. It's just not her thing. And to watch Ashley's... to watch what she did with Ellie, and to see how she crafted that with the experience and the mindset of someone who can look into a game and go, this is how this is going to be, I get it. And then also from an actor's standpoint too, going, this is the kind of character that I've always wanted to play and I've never been given the chance to do. And you look at Courtney, who's like, Tetris? Mario? What? And then it was like our first Christmas every morning. It's like, wow! Snow! Everything had this newness to it, which makes it amazing for me who, this is my 10th game console. I've been playing games 30 years more. And don't clap. Yay! Oh! But to see the fascination, it reminds you, oh yeah, this is hard, but wow, what a cool thing we get to do, and this is why we do this. But this is one of your fellow actors. So it was such, again, two different experiences, both the mechanics of it from being full performance capture and then really creating believable performances with just your voice is really, really hard. That's why voice acting, at least in the realm that I operate in, is just an archaic term because it's just acting. Because I know a lot of people that have a really cool voice, but they can't make decisions for characters. And they can't really get into it. It's like they got hired because they've got a great voice. And then you start asking them these compelling meta questions, and they're like, I'll just be cool, how about that? And I'm not impersonating anybody right now. This is the voice I chose. People are like, he's making fun of blank. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So it's just acting. And that's what I would also say, because I'm sure someone's gonna ask this question. If you want to become an actor, don't qualify it. You're not gonna be a stage actor, a TV actor, a film actor, a voice actor, whatever. You're just gonna become an actor. And that means you focus on the acting. That means you learn how to build a character from the ground up. That means you understand as much of the process as you can that applies to you. I'm not saying you have to learn how to operate a camera and lights and everything else, but you need to understand what story is and what the 3-act structure or the 7-act structure is, so that you understand when, it's called where the lie lives. And where that twist happens, being able to understand, I'm not gonna get really mad in this situation because I know that I've gotta do that in Act 3. So why would I do that in Act 1, Scene 1? You know what I mean? That's not anything to do with, well, make sure you have honey with lemon, and before you, this distance from the microphone. No, dude, that's like choices. Let everybody else worry about the mechanics. You know what I mean? It's great to know the business end of a mic, that's fine. But I swear to you, do you know why we find the violin such a beautiful instrument? It's because it's slightly out of tune with itself. It's dissonant, it's imperfect. And we find that attractive. We find perfection didactic. So be imperfect. Don't try to be perfect, because you will never, ever, ever get there. Find the beauty in your imperfection, and that's where you will excel. We got time for 2 more. I gotta go with my Scott. There's another Delson. And a fetch! I gotta get a picture with you for Laura Bailey later. What you got?
All right. I know you got NDAs and stuff to worry
Sure.
about, and I know that it's like, probably not gonna get an answer, but can you tell us anything about your performance as Ocelot in the upcoming Phantom Pain?
Sure, let me tell you everything. To begin, Kojima's really good, but and then the final thing, you're pretty good. So I mean, yeah, I know. I'll probably get fired for saying all of that. I love Kojima so much it hurts. And Kojima is like Aerosmith, okay? Hang with me on this. Aerosmith has been around a long time, right? And they've constantly evolved themselves to stay relevant and current, but there's never any doubt that it's Aerosmith. You can always tell, okay, that's clearly Steven Tyler, that's Joe Perry. You know that it's them from the down of one, and that's Kojima. It always feels like Metal Gear. And sometimes it's really big and flashy. I love what he's done with this story. I love how he's taken a very grassroots approach to it. The world is so huge. So huge. And there are very few games that I'm seeing that tap into Shadow of Mordor is one of them.
Oh, yeah, dude.
What's up? We were at E3, and everyone's doing, you have different kind of demos that you can do. You can do a like super secret behind closed doors that unless you're Walmart, you're not gonna see. Or you could have a on the floor closed doors demo, which you have to be VIP to get into. Or you have to be press or like wait for an hour to get into, or you have the hands-on demos. So all sorts of crazy stuff was going on behind closed doors. Like killing Kennedy or whatever, I don't know. It's a joke. on the floor, you got to see stuff like they were showing the demo that was not hands-on for like Arkham Knight. Shadow of Mordor, everyone calm down. For Shadow of Mordor, they were running live code, which meant that it was not a pre-scripted video. They were actually playing the game and running it as you would play it when you get the game in your hands. And the way that their world operates is, if you kill an orc, the world changes. If you get killed by an orc, he gets promoted. The entire world changes, and you come back and you get to see the ramifications of your actions. To like a stupid, insane level, okay? So I saw Brittany Bombacher, who's writes for tons of different people, like IGN and different people. I was like, hey, I just saw you in line like an hour ago. She's like, I know. And I turned around and went right back in. I was like, why? She goes, because our guy he died. We didn't get to see the quest fulfilled. Because it's so, literally we go and the guy goes, okay, everybody, thank you so much for checking out Shadow of Mordor from Warner Brothers Games. We're going to be fighting some orcs today. Let's see who we're going to be fighting, and bear with me because I've never seen these names before. They are, and he literally goes, Drolgath the Drooler. Okay, his strengths, and he's literally seeing this for the first time ever. That's like tapping into the console on a very real level. That's like really hitting the complexity of the diversity and emergent gameplay that you get to choose how you play, who you kill. I mean, it's hours. Like Skyrim on crack. Seriously. Like Time Vampire. Forget about it. You'll probably get kicked out of school. Or lose your job. But what a great cause. But like what Metal Gear is doing, sorry I did this. I was rolling dice. Anyway. I'm gonna get so in trouble for this panel. We need to speak about Troy's panel. But also with what Metal Gear is doing, you're crafting your own gameplay within and especially the trap to fall into. Are we almost done? All right, cool. The trap to fall into with such an established franchise is just do the same thing, man. People know how to play it, so there's less tutorial, or we know it works. And Kojima's constantly innovating. He's like, how can I go deeper into this? How can I make it more difficult? Typical Japanese developer is like, we'll make this really hard for you guys. Like Catherine. Whoa. 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 I've never rage quit a game. Ninja Gaiden 3 and Catherine, I was like, I'm out! But it is, again, you are visiting these characters in a different time. So go into that mindset. Have no preconception of these characters, okay? Only because you're just treat it like it's its own game, okay? And if you're familiar with the franchise, you're gonna get some cool payoffs. Be like, hey. It will always feel like a Metal Gear game because it's Kojima at the helm, and it's gonna be huge, 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 huge. Not just like success-wise. I'm talking about like when the map lays out, you're gonna go, oh, okay. Flip a coin for which direction I want to go in. So I'm honored to be in that because I'm a fan of Metal Gear, and especially Ocelot. He's kind of like the Sid of Final Fantasy. He's like in every game. So that was really cool too. All right, I got to end it with my boy. Make it a good one, because we're going to burn you alive after this. Go ahead. All of you are.
Yes. I know since Assault on Arkham is coming out.
Yes.
How did it feel to work with Kevin Conroy?
Dude, Kevin, the first time I worked with him was on Arkham City, and I played Nightwing in that. Yeah. So it was the first day they were all recording together, and then Kevin and Mark went in and did stuff for City, and then they're like, Troy, you just kind of hang out here? I was like, no problem. And so then I go in, and they're readjusting Kevin's mic, and they're getting me set up when we're across the room, and I just go, I hate to do this, man, which I know no one in this room has ever used those words before, and Kevin just gives me one of these, he goes, like he knows it's coming, and I'm like, there was an episode of the animated series. And he's just writing notes, he goes, uh-huh.
Okay.
And I went, well, I'm committed now. and they have to fire me to get me out of this room, and then drag me. I said, there was an episode of the animated series where, I'm sure you don't remember this because it was so long ago, but Bruce Wayne, he wakes up, and it's a Mad Hatter episode, and he goes, "Perchance to dream." And I went, yes. Yes, he goes, "It's my favorite episode too." And I was just like, well, okie dokie then, Kev. Call me Kevin. Yes, sir. I mean, call Mr. Conroy too. And I mean, talk about someone who's been a custodian for so long of probably the hardest character to crack. And what an amazing run he's had in so many different iterations, from the animated series to the games to the movies. I still watch Phantom of the Mask, or Mask of the Phantom, sorry, Mask of the Phantom all the time. He is just as Mark Hamill is everyone's Joker, Kevin Conroy is everyone's Batman. That being said, absolutely. I like what you said. That being said, though, they're merely custodians of it. And that character has existed for 75 years and will continue to exist for another 75 years when Kevin Conroy is long gone. And Mark Hamill is long gone. And Troy Baker has long gone. Sure, I'm not eternal, guys. Jeez. You know what I mean? I look at myself as a prize fighter, and there's gonna be one time when Sonny Liston's gonna get me, and I'm gonna go down, and that's gonna be it, and that's fine. That's what I love. I will have had a great run. Shut up. I had a great run. But what I'm trying to say to you is that these characters are bigger than any of the actors that have stepped into it. And you will always have the one that you're like, but that's mine. And that's fine, and hold on to that. But just like we're open to, with Kiefer being, Snake, just be open, because at the end of the day, all of these people that are crafting these stories for your enjoyment, not for their own, because trust me, I'm sure they could find other ways to have fun in life. It's for you guys, and it's because they love these characters so much. So, there you go. Thank you guys for letting me go over. Great questions. Sit down. Acoustic concert is gonna be like 2 doors. Hi. Sorry.